What's going on, guys? So I have heard an absolute ton ever since I put out that Supremacy Silver Afnan review about how I need to try Not Only Intense. And look, I had already ordered it before that video came out. I was just waiting on it to come in, and I've heard rave reviews about this. The note breakdown kind of makes me think it's more Hasavat than Aventus, but I've heard it's smoky, but kind of an oak moss bomb. It's just all these wonderful things. So I have Afnan Supremacy Not Only Intense right here. We're going to bust this open, and we're going to see what the top's like. I'm going to let it dry down for about an hour, come back, see how it's starting to settle in, and see what all the hype is about with this fragrance, because it's going for around $60-ish, which is about double what silver is going for. Kind of like with Club de Nuit Intense Man versus getting the limited edition Parfum. It's going for about double. That one's worth spending more, but is this one worth spending more? Stay tuned. Okay, so this seems to be a nicer presentation for sure. That's the case with Club de Nuit Intense Man limited edition Parfum. So it's actually quite nice. You see my ring light reflection, but Piano Black has that same badge that goes on the bottles. Not Only Intense. Clicks in. The cap is off to the side. Has some info here. It is a felt of sorts, so the cap just happened to have come off. It's not supposed to be like that, obviously. But here is the bottle. Put that down. A darker version, as far as bottle presentation, of Supremacy Silver. It says Not Only Intense in red. Very strange name, but I kind of dig it, honestly. I kind of dig it. It's a little different. So let's give it a spray and see what it's all about. Sniff on it, and then we'll talk about the notes. Great atomizer. Ooh. Okay, that does smell really good out in the air. Wow, that does smell really good. Ooh, it's a kind of a black currant bomb at the top. That tart fruitiness is just in abundance here. And it is a little smoky. And there's no birch or anything like that in here that I remember anyways from the note breakdown. I know there's a bunch of citrus fruit stuff going on with black currant. Like I said, we'll look at the notes in a little bit. I don't remember the full note breakdown completely, but I do remember that there's specifically no birch or anything like that. This does smell more like Aventus than Hasavat. I was thinking because it was supposedly so full of oak moss, and looking at the notes, I was like, oh, that might be more Hasavat. This opening is absolutely not Hasavat. This is Aventus. And this smells so much higher quality than the limited edition Parfum Club de Nuit Intense Man flanker. And look, I love that stuff. Hell, it's right here. I have it right here. I love this stuff. We might have to do a comparison between those two in the very near future. But for right now, it does have a little juicy fruit smell in the backdrop, but it's a lot of black currant here. It's a little bit of a leathery smell in the backdrop. I want to say there is leather in here too. I could be wrong, but it's got a little bit of a leathery smell also. Let me grab my phone. Let's pull these notes up, because I'm very intrigued. The quality is fan-frickin-tastic on this.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So here we go. I pulled it up on Parfumo. Let's see what the notes are. According to this, top notes of bergamot, apple, and black currant. That's clear as day with the black currant. Heart notes of lavender, patchouli, and oak moss. Base notes of saffron, musk, and ambergris. So there's no leather in here according to this note breakdown, but it does have a bit of a leathery smell. It is, maybe it's the earthy tone that it has, this dark earthy tone that's making me think leather. The saffron can provide a little bit of a leathery smell, though, so it could be the saffron that's doing that. That kind of gives off a little bit of a spicy, leathery type of feel, so that could be what it is. Guys, this smells incredible. It smells better than Aventus. Honestly. Shit. I'm super impressed. Hype justified, at least in the opening. Hype justified. Because I've been hearing just how amazing this fragrance is. It's so robust and thick. Like, it's a more dense smell than any batch of Aventus I've ever smelled, which I admittedly haven't smelled tons of them, only maybe 2 or 3, about a handful, I would say. And it's very strong. A lot of black currant. So I'm going to shut this down for about an hour. We'll come back and we'll see what it's all about.
1 hour later.
Guys, I'm back, and I have to admit, I can't stop smelling my hand. It's not exact to Aventus. It clearly smells like Aventus. But I'm not going to sit here and call this a direct 100% copy. This has a little bit of a different nuance going for it as it starts to settle. There's no pineapple here. It never smells like pineapple. It's black currant and apple, pretty much. I don't really get much bergamot. It kind of supports in the top note, but a lot of oak moss and this leathery feel that I believe is the saffron. It's getting a little bit musky in the dry down. It's earthy, but a really good earthy, leathery type of smell in the dry. And the black currant has gone nowhere. It's been roughly an hour, and I am loving this. Is wow. This is a wow factor fragrance to me. This, like I said, I've smelled other fragrances that are carbon copies of Aventus. This is not a carbon copy of Aventus. This is like 80% Aventus, 80-85%. Majority of the aroma. There's no denying it's gonna remind you of Aventus. But this is so much more of black currant, oak moss, and saffron. And musk, obviously some musk. Later in the dry down. I'm sure it'll get even muskier as more time progresses, but look, it hasn't settled down in an hour. It's been about an hour and almost 10 minutes since I sprayed it. Has not calmed down at all. It smells like I just sprayed it. The oil sheen, get it to focus on my hand, you can still see some of the oil. There you go. You can see that shine on my hand. It's an extrait. I don't know exactly the percentage. It's going to be above 25% as a pure parfum like this, but this is another one that's worth the $60, just like the limited edition parfum. Those two are different. There's similarities and there's clear-cut differences. I'm definitely going to have to do a comparison video. Definitely let me know down in the comments if that's something you guys want to see, because I'm going to be comparing them. If you guys want to join in with my thoughts and opinions on me comparing them and which one I think's better, it's going to be tough because I really like the limited edition parfum. I gave that one an 8.5 out of 10, and I think where it stands right now, I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10 as well. This is great, bordering outstanding. And as I spend more time with it, because this is just the first impressions, this is me first spraying it, it could potentially jump into that 9 territory, which I don't give anything a 10, as a lot of you know that watch this channel on a regular basis. So a 9.5 for me is a 10, because I don't believe anything, any category of any kind, there's such a thing as a 10. That's just my own personal thing. And an 8.5 for me is a really freaking good rating. This is really good. I understand the hype now. It doesn't even really remind me that much of Hasavat. It definitely reminds me more of Aventus than Hasavat because there's so much black currant here. It's a bomb of it. It's that inky, tart, dark, fruity smell. The apple kind of tries, it attempts to freshen it up a little bit, but the oak moss saffron combo here is gorgeous. I can't imagine wearing this in the summer except for in the evenings, and I don't see the need to spray this one beyond, I think 5 sprays is pushing it, honestly. This stuff is really strong. I have a feeling the sillage is going to be quite the trail here, but my first impressions on this one is hype justified, 8.5 out of 10. This stuff is night and day better than Supremacy Silver, but here's the kicker. I don't think it's redundant to have both of them, because that is a fresh, fruity, musky take on Aventus, whereas this is a dark, oak moss heavy, blackcurrant saffron bomb. Not redundant, believe it or not. You can have both. And there's actually a little bit of variety and versatility here, because that one I would wear in the heat. I will wear in the heat. This one I would not. This is more special occasion, cooler weather, and evenings is how I'm dubbing this one in this video. Afnan Supremacy, not only intense, the hype is real, people. Well, that's my first impressions on this magnificent fragrance from Afnan. They have really been impressing me a lot. Every fragrance I've gotten from them so far has shattered my expectations. From this to 9 p.m. to Supremacy Silver, I have really been enjoying the House of Afnan. I'm going to continue to pick up, probably, like next I'll go Supremacy and Oud and get all the other ones. Supremacy Noir really interests me. Looks really piney green, leathery. I'm going to keep going down the line of some of these Afnan fragrances, because I'm kind of falling in love with the house. I know I'm very late to the party, but man, they put out some really freaking good stuff that has a great quality and fantastic performance, and they're super affordable. The bottles are nice. The presentation is like, it's checking all the boxes here, guys. And this stuff might be the king of their mountain, at least what I've tried so far. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you tried this already? If you haven't, you really should. You really should. It's not completely Aventus. It has more to offer than just being an Aventus clone. I really believe that. This is something special. God, it's so dark and rich. It really is. This is a wow factor type of fragrance. This one is a wow factor fragrance. Find a way to get a decanter or a sample if you don't want to just blind buy a bottle. I'm not encouraging you to blind buy it, but I'm definitely encouraging you to find a way to get your nose on it. Until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Supremacy, not only intense from Afnan, you give it a spray now, you're definitely going to thank me later. This stuff's awesome. Have a good one, guys.